Good day to everybody. My name is Kyle Beard. I'm a co-founder of Seatastic, and we're an engineering group that is targeting a solution for the massive elephant in the room and really in the world that nobody wants to talk about, and that's airline travel. Airlines are continually charging an arm and a leg for pricing, and when you think a pretty penny would mean that you get to sit in high class, you end up dissatisfied during your flight because of discomfort. Imagine you're like a tuna fish in a can. While we can't help with expensive flights, we can try to make your flight much more enjoyable, and we're fighting to give you the extra comfort you deserve. And that's why we're introducing the original plane partition. With our product, we're seeking $1 million US for a 5% stake in our company with an additional 2% of royalties. So who and why are we? Our company was founded in 2019 by 4 engineering students from NC State, and we have many diverse backgrounds. We have mechanical engineers, computer engineers, electrical engineers, and industrial engineers. And that's where we're introducing the plane partition. Together, we engineered a product that's a new innovative divider curtain to maximize your personal space within your seat on an airline. The purpose of this product is to increase your comfort, your focus, and your security for the duration of the flight. We know that airlines are extremely personal for people, especially since you could be spending hours and hours on a flight. And because of that, they have a personal attachment to you, and therefore your personal problem becomes our personal solution. We've all seen the Icebreakers commercials. Your personal pocket is important to you. This ever-changing world is trying to shrink it to maximize their profits, especially with public transportation, whether it be airlines, buses, or any other form of public transportation. So imagine you're on a plane. We've all encountered an experience where you're sitting next to a stranger. There's that awkward and ambiguous moment to where one person's seat ends and the other begins. You don't know who gets to share the armrest. You don't know how far you can spread your legs. And how do you know if your neighbor's not invading your space with their elbows? All these experiences are cringeworthy, and they create a negative byproduct of airlines as they try to cram more seats into the same confined volume of the airplane. So we want to clear the room. 1.7 million people fly daily in the domestic United States on airlines that were averaging between 200 and 210 people. Therefore, with these 5,000 planes in service, for every row receiving 2 plane partitions between the aisle and the middle seat, and the middle seat and the window seat, we're targeting 670,000 products. But you may still be questioning, what exactly is your product? What does it look like? And how can it help me more? So what you're looking at here is a nice SOLIDWORKS rendition of our product. As you can see, we have a very standard default airplane seat that we've created a rendering for. And we have a fan-like removable seat divider that is positioned between the seats that'll then come up. The uses for this, not including all of them, are merely step 1. If you're really tired, you can lean up against it for a nap. You can also induce a flow state, increase focus, whether you're working on your personal hobbies, reading a book, trying to watch a movie, or actually working on something important regarding your job. You can also isolate yourself for entertainment, whether you're listening to a movie, trying to watch TV shows, or just play games on your phone and you don't want somebody snooping. You can also prevent the seat thieves. These are the ones that steal your armrest, your leg space, and also invade your personal bubble. And finally, nobody likes it, but hey, sometimes you get stuck next to an annoying seatmate, and this would be perfect for blocking them out in the least rude way possible. So to go a little bit deeper into our product, first and foremost, we designed it with your comfort and safety in mind. We understand that FAA has very strict regulations on what can pass and what doesn't pass for any accessories that go into an airline. We keep safety in mind, but we also keep comfort in mind. And we understand that there's a personal solution that can be integrated into an airline that meets what our product is looking to do, that also is a mesh between comfort and safety that's best served for you. Speaking of which, we also know that our product is going to be shared by many, and if there's 3 people in a row and there's only 2 dividers, we understand that it's a first come and first served basis for our seat patrons. Now, if you don't like it, it doesn't have to be used, as we offer it as an optional accessory during the flight, similar to how your tray table would work. And really, the beauty of it all is in the technology. So of course, being the 4 different engineers that we are, we had to add in some bells and whistles to make sure that we made our customers happy with our product. It all starts with the structure, the bones of the frame. We have a very rigid structure that expands with circular joints, and it has different outer connections that form that circular motion that kind of expands and retracts out of the armrest. And within this structure, it'll also hold the wiring for some of the electrical components that we'll have. Also the material. We want it to be safe. We also want it to be clean, which is why we would do an antimicrobial plastic frame with a cloth line padding for the wing-like structure, as you could see earlier in that photo. And of course, it's the 21st century, so we'd absolutely have to have some automation. It'll be motorized. You don't have to touch a thing except for a button if you want to expand it or retract it. And there would also be LED lights embedded into the plane partition that allow you to communicate between your seat neighbor, the row, flight attendants, and anybody else on the plane. Through different LED light codes, you can then show if there's an emergency, if you need to go to the bathroom, if you need simple assistance. And finally, and the most important, is our safety. The padded shell that'll have the cloth lining will prevent collision during turbulence. Also, the flight crew can override the seat control to make sure that it either stays down if there is an emergency on the plane. Competition is one of the biggest factors that you would consider when you're making a new product, but currently we don't have any competitors existing in the market. We are the entry product. Our biggest competition isn't who's going to outbeat us to try to make this product, but it's really just the challenge that the Federal Aviation Administration, or the FAA, could have over regulations and rules for how our product can be used, when it can be used, and how it's implemented on different flights. We would have to do a productization within the government law and also ensure that safety and security are the top priority, which we already do, but we would need to validate this through extensive testing. So here's where we would leverage the experts. So from statistics, behind cost, comfort is the second most important factor in passengers when they go to choose an airline. Can you think about that? If you're going to buy a flight, you look for the price. And if prices are comparable, the next biggest thing is how comfortable that airline is for their patrons. This is where we can leverage the market to make it to where your airline, using our plane partition, can give you a boost in sales. In 2018, the worldwide commercial airline industry had $41 billion in net profit and $561 billion in revenue. So for example, if 2 passengers choose airline A over B solely because the plane partition is on one flight and not the other, net profit has already been made for how much it would cost for our plane partition for that one seat. It pays for itself with 2 passengers choosing your airline over your competitor's airline that doesn't have it. So let's talk about the money. Our company evaluation for 670,000 seat opportunities at $500 per plane partition is a max valuation of $335 million in revenue. Our target is to contract sponsorships between airline fleets to where we would install initially, plus have a service contract for the life of the plane regarding any maintenance or repairs that would need to be upheld for that particular plane partition. So the breakdown of how the cost and what kind of goes into where that cost came from for the plane partition is 20% of it comes from the overhead cost. It's who works in the office with engineering and support. 10% is the raw material needed to make it. 30% is the manufacturing for the product. 5% is the servicing afterwards. 15% is the research and development and the new product introduction into the market. And 20% is the profit that we then put in our pockets. Our team and personnel are made up of a wide scope of people, ranging with the 4 co-founders that started it, as well as project managers, the legal team, a wide array of engineering, another wide array of manufacturing with sourcing, advanced manufacturing engineers and technicians, We have our software developers and also our user interface and user experience experts. We have our customer-focused representatives for servicing, marketing, PR, and psychologists specifically looking at how the comfort is affected, and also enabling our employees to be empowered through HR. So with this funding, we'd like to kind of go through a little bit of the timeline. Initially, the prototyping phase will be 22 weeks. This is where we will make our product. Then over 60 weeks, we'll perform a very extensive testing and validation, anywhere from mechanical fatigue to electrical testing, as well as psychological tests and safety tests for the FAA. We'll then make revisions for what we learned from testing and validation, as well as seeking additional support from the FAA. And finally, when we do our product and release, we'll need 43 weeks to get a clearance from the FAA, as well as manufacturing, to get the product out. So with that $1 million, we would like to break it up into $400,000 to go into the initial prototyping, $300,000 to go into the initial testing, $200,000 to support legal, and $100,000 to do initial marketing and PR. So just to wrap this up, we love talking with you today, and the plane partition is a new innovative divider curtain to maximize your personal space in your seat. It's aimed specifically to increase your comfort, focus, and security for the duration of your flight. We know that airlines are a personal problem for people when it comes to comfort, so we wanted to provide a personal solution for you. We think our market opportunity is massive, with 670,000 sales at $500 a unit sold for the fleets, which is $335 million. And just to remind you, those 2% royalties would pay you back $6.7 million on your initial $1 million investment if we were to hit this market opportunity. Plus, you already have 5% of the stake in our company. So consider this. The next time you're flying, avoid the trouble, expand your personal bubble, and invest in the plane partition today.